The youth of this country are complaining of lack of jobs. Every government comes to talk about the private sector being the engine of growth, which is true in every jurisdiction that unemployment rate is less than 5%. You realize that the private sector is in the lead to recruit a lot of the unemployed people.
In this episode, Honorable Patrick shares his perspective on Ghana's taxation system, highlighting how it is placing a heavy burden on businesses and contributing to rising unemployment across the country.
I've been following discussions within the business community and how they feel oppressed by the tax audit arrangement by the Ghana Revenue Authority under the Revenue Administration Act. So I decided to speak to some captains of industry, and they were of the view that this has to be looked into. So I did some research and I wrote to the Minister of Finance and copied the Ghana Revenue Authority Commissioner General. The long and short of it is that the youth of this country are complaining of lack of jobs. Every government comes to talk about the private sector being the engine of growth, which is true in every jurisdiction that unemployment rate is less than 5%. You realize that the private sector is in the lead to recruit a lot of the unemployed people. So if you want to expand the private sector, then it means the GRA and the tax administration system has to be innovative. It cannot be the case that just a few companies pay taxes, and those who pay taxes to are audited within a certain time frame, slapped with hefty penalties and interest. Sometimes the penalties and the interest that are slapped on these companies far exceed their tax liabilities. So if it's the case that I file my annual returns and the law says that the GRA has or is under obligation to audit my company within 2 years, then if they detect some errors in my computation, then the incidence or the imposition of the tax on my company will be lesser than they coming after 5 years or within the 6-year mandate or period to come and audit me. Then it becomes a business for some unscrupulous officials of the GRA to negotiate with some owners of companies, and that leads to corruption. So, and the state stands to lose. What I'm advocating for is that come and audit the companies within 2 years. If there are some issues, they'll be able to resolve them and pay the fines and penalties. But if you leave those fines and penalties that are going to be paid within a certain time frame at a rate of 125% of the BOG rate, monthly compounded rates, and all those things, it's inimical to business and it's very oppressive. And it leads to rent seeking by officials of the Ghana Revenue Authority. So this is a very good call for the Minister of Finance to look into what I've said and written to him for serious legislative reforms, and it's going to go a long way to help the business community. I know they are in support of what I've written to him, and he needs to take the right steps to address the issues that I raised in the letter to him.
You did mention of corruption. Do you think that there is a hidden corruption behind these whole penalties?
Well, if you come and audit me and you slap me with penalties and interest on, let's say, 1 million cedis, it balloons to another level. So if you have tax auditors from the GRA to say that, look, let's do some business, it's now up to 2 million. Give me, let's say, 500 or 300,000. Let me write off the 700,000. Pay the the original tax liability owed or due GRA. The state has lost a chunk. If it happens to 100 companies, you can tell for free that the state will be losing a lot of revenue. So why wouldn't you allow us to file annually, come within 2 years to do your tax audit, and then companies will be very much enthused to go about their tax obligations freely without having to encounter some of the officials. Let me tell you, we have very, very good people within the tax system, the GRA, professionals. But you have a few of them also doing what is not right. And if you talk to the companies, they will tell you that these are some of the things they go through during the tax audit. And we must take steps to eradicate it and have a good tax administration system so that the state can reap the right revenues for the development of this country. That will also lead to some freeing of resources for the companies to be able to expand, to create the jobs that we are talking about for the youth of this country.